So, welcome to Getting to Diamond in 3 months. And with us today, we've got Rhian. So, Rhian did this. She was, I think she may well have been the first diamond in the UK to do it. Not 100% sure on that one, but I think you were. And so basically Rhian showed that, when we talk about signing people up and then being able to get the $10,000 bonus within 3 months, that it is possible. And she paved the way, and other people have been doing that since in the team. So really exciting. So thanks to Rhian for coming on board, onto the call. And I'm just going to let you I'm just going to let you go with it, darling, because you know this better than me.
What, me?
Yeah. Yeah, you.
To be fair, obviously, because I felt when we first started that there weren't many people that were obviously doing the business at the time. So I do think that the way in which maybe I did the business to begin with was quite different from everybody else. So when obviously I look back at what it was that I did, that's the only way that I've been able to figure out as to how I got to diamond in 3 months. I don't think it was something that I set out to do. It was just something that when I look back I realised on how I'd done it. The first thing that I would say is when people are in their first month, I know that people do compare their journeys to other people, and I know that people have compared theirs to mine. Obviously because in my sort of 3rd, 4th month I was enrolling 13, 14 DTs. But the first thing I will say is that in my first month I enrolled 1 DT, which was Jill, and I enrolled 1 loyal customer, which was my mum. So I never got the 120 product credit. I never got any of that because at the time we didn't really know what it was or how you could get it. So I think the reason why I'm saying that is to say to people that if you're in your first month and you haven't enrolled any DTs or you haven't got any loyal customers, it really isn't the end of the world, because I didn't. I did sign a distributor in my first week, but I then didn't sign my next distributor for 7 weeks, if I remember rightly. And it was only when in my 8th or 9th week that I went for my emerald that I basically sat and thought, I need to understand basically what's going on with the business. And up until that point, the business is difficult to understand, and the 400 BVs and the charting, and I remember looking at a diamond chart when I first began, thinking there is no way on earth that I'm ever going to understand that, and I really believed that. And it was when I went for emerald that I sat there and thought, I need to understand this for myself, and I need to understand how I'm going to do this on my own without anybody else. So the month I went for emerald, I sat back and I charted myself, and I realised that I needed 13 distributors and I needed 47 loyals to be able to get emerald, which was just doing it on my own. That was without any distributors that I had, who would obviously then get their own distributors or loyals or anything like that. And it had turned out the month that I went emerald, I did get the distributors by myself. Apart from one, I got them all myself. And I think the one thing I would say to people is when you're looking at promoting and you want to take yourself to diamond or emerald or whatever promotion you want to do, the one thing I would say to you is to actually sit yourself down and understand the charting by yourself. Get it under your own belt without somebody else telling you, without somebody else showing you. You need to sit down and understand it for yourself and understand how you're going to do something, because you can't always rely on other people to do it for you. So if you sit there and know that you need X amount of DTs and X amount of loyals yourself, anything anybody else gets is just a bonus. And I was very lucky in that who came in underneath, just incredible. And I think that's probably the other thing I tell people is, if you can bring someone in underneath you who you can work with and who basically will become not only your business partner, but your best friend and your confidant, which is what Rhian is to me. And I can say that my diamond was not done on my own in no way, shape or form. She was very much an integral part of what I did, and I wouldn't have been able to have done it without her. So I think that is a really important factor, is when you find someone in the business that you take on board that will literally help you where you need to go, but you're also going to help them where they need to go. It's important. It isn't about being a lone wolf in this business. It is about having a team behind you that believe in you and will help you. And I have to sit here and give a shout out to my team on the last 2 days last month when I was going for double diamond and Rhian was obviously going for diamond. I cannot take away from the fact that on those last 2 days, my entire team on our page, they were all sat there saying, how many laws do you need? What do you need? How can we help you? And again, I think that's a really important thing in what you're doing, is you need a team behind you that trust you, want to work with you, that you're working with, and who will, when it comes down to it, will all literally band together to help you in what you're doing. I was completely overwhelmed by what my team did on that day, and I will never ever forget that. I will never forget sitting there on that last day with them posting in our page saying, where are we now, what else do we need to do? And yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys. I think to be honest, a lot of hard work goes into it, but I think within that, a big part of it is the team that you're working with and the people that you've got around you and how you make those people feel. They will basically lead by example. If you are sitting there not doing anything, then they're going to do the same thing. But if you sit there and you're getting out there and they see you getting out there, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to want to follow you. They're literally going to want to do it. But, and to completely contradict myself, what it boils down to is that it is your own business. And that's exactly how I see it. It's my business. I don't want to rely on other people, but don't get me wrong, Rhian is a driving force behind me and how I've done so well. But you have to remember that it is your own business and you have to want it. And you have to remember why you want it. And my why is massive. And it's something I haven't shared with many people, but the reason I'm doing it is a massive reason to me. And it is the reason that keeps me going. And like Mark Pentecost says, your why should make you cry, and my God does mine. Mine certainly does. The reason I'm in this business is the only driving force that I have behind me, granted along with Rhian. But you do need to sit there and remember why you're doing it. And sometimes it will be hard, and sometimes you'll have weeks when you don't sell anything, or apologies for the shout in the background, my other half is very into football and England are losing at the moment, so he's not happy. But yeah, you have to sit there and you have to remember why you're doing it, and you have to remember that it's yours. There's nobody else to blame. The information and what you need is out there. And the one thing I will say, and I understand that not everybody can do this, I don't have children, so I have sat up until 2 o'clock in the morning every Wednesday since I joined this company and listened to the American calls. And I understand that not everybody can do that, and I'm lucky that I'm not lucky I don't have children, because I want children, but I'm able to do that because I don't have children, I don't have to get up in the morning. But all those calls are recorded, and they're all saved in the files in all of our team pages. And I would say that listening to those calls and hearing what those girls are saying, they've been doing this for 3, 4, 5, 10 years, some of them, and what they have to say is very, very important when you're beginning, because there are so many things that they would sit there and say that they're doing that I'd think, I'd never even thought of doing that. And if I felt down or I felt bad, I would listen to these calls on a Wednesday, and at 2:30 in the morning, I would literally want to text my entire team and go, you have no idea what I've just heard. Because they really are that important. So, I don't know, maybe I've given about 12 different reasons how to get to diamonds, but I think they're all important, and it's exactly what I did. I'm never ever going to lie to people. I'm not going to sit there and tell you that it's easy, because it isn't, and it isn't. This business isn't easy. It takes hard work, and it takes determination, and it's a lot of repetitiveness, which can sometimes be annoying, and I find that. And I'm not very good at sales, I never have been. I'm an IT professional. I don't do sales. I'm a technical person. I'm very straightforward. A lot of you will agree that sometimes I come across not very nice, but it's not the case. It's just that I'm straightforward, and I think sometimes you have to put the time and effort into people. A lot of the girls that joined me as distributors, sorry, that would be my other half again. A lot of the girls that joined me as distributors, he's about to come out and tell me about it. Gary, I'm just on a team call, darling. He's just said sorry. I know, darling, they've just fallen over apparently. Sorry, Gary's not happy. At least it shows I'm human, to be fair.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I have no idea where I was. Yeah.
You were talking about training calls, and it's
yeah.
a great point. It really is. They're so important.
Yeah, no, it is, and I will never deny that. And I know when I first started doing it, people thought I was crazy because I was staying up till 2 a.m. But the thing is every time I come off those calls, something, they talk about I mean, we could take a lot from the Americans. I mean, we're so, and I'm totally guilty of it, we are so cynical and so straightforward here in the UK. And my God, they're not. And I know myself and Melanie have done calls with the US, and I know I came off going, my God, I sound bored. And what made me feel better is when I listened to Melanie's at 2 o'clock this morning, I thought, my God, she sounds bored as well. And it made me feel better because and Melanie's Northern, and most Northerners can't sound bored. But I realised it was because we were tired, and that the Americans just sound more upbeat than we do in general. But when you listen to them, and I really think we should take a lot out of them, because they are so upbeat and they are so very for the company. And you do really need to find your reason as to why you're working for this company. I found mine. I mean, mine came out of nowhere after I did those facials. And I remember that day looking in the mirror and seeing myself smile for the first time in 3 years, having suffered Bell's palsy and my face having paralysed on both sides 3 times. I never ever thought I would smile in a picture again. Never in my life. I never smiled, and I never thought anything would ever bring that back. And after I'd, sorry, after, after, I'm so sorry.
Oh, sweet.
After doing my third facial, and I remember waking up in the morning and looking in the mirror, and for the first time in 3 years, seeing both sides of my smile go up. And I suddenly sat there and thought, if they can do that for me, and if they can make me smile again, then my God, what they can do for other people. And that's what you need to find. You need to find that reason why you're doing it. You need to really, really believe in the company, and really know that they can change people's lives. They've changed my life. Before I started this company, I would have never, ever have had the money to take my mum and dad's house over. Had I not, my mum, after a triple bypass, would have had to have gone back to work, which she physically can't. She doesn't have to now. She's now at this moment out in France with my dad, and they're enjoying themselves, and she's not going back to work, and quite rightly so. And I have, it works. So thanks for that. Sorry, no.
Oh, bless you, sweetheart.
I'm so sorry.
No, don't worry about it. So, I know when you talked about in your first few weeks and, you know, not to worry if you're not signing distributors, etc. But one thing that you did do, Rhian, in those first few weeks is...
Was rap people.
Yeah. You rap.
Oh, yeah.
So,
undoubtedly so.
Yeah, so one thing that you didn't do is sit there and wait for, oh, I'll just wait for my kit to arrive, or I'll just wait for
No, you can't do that.
Oh, God.
Oh.
I think you would have word.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, do you know what?
We've got it from both ends here, haven't we?
At least the one thing you get from my calls is that we're totally human. England is just...
Oh, goodness.
I'm so sorry. No, the one thing that I do say to all of my team is, basically in my first month, when we still had the big booster, you know that I got through 4 big boosters in my first month. Now, each big booster had 36 wraps in it. And I was basically wrapping 6 people every day, 6 days a week. And if you talk to a lot of my team, the majority of my team are people that I wrapped and then they joined. And this is the thing, when the Americans say, get the wraps on people, get them on people. You cannot expect somebody to join a business who doesn't even know it works. You have to get the wraps on people. If you are not wrapping people, you cannot expect to bring people into this business. And when I first started, I was one of the only people that was doing it in our area. My God, did I push myself out there. And what happened is people spoke to people who spoke to people, and word of mouth is a massive, massive thing. But it all boils down to the fact that if you are not getting wraps on people, you're not getting results, you're not getting word of mouth, and you are not going to get distributors that way. You cannot find a little bit like that, and I will get you there. But there aren't lots of people out there like me. So most people will not do something until they've seen it happen themselves. So if you're not wrapping people and you're not out there and you're not putting yourself out there, you cannot expect your business to grow. You have to do it. And the thing was, no, I didn't enroll any DTs, but it was like I didn't do any loyals. But that was because I actually didn't understand how the loyal service worked. When I then understood it in my second month, because of the amount of clients that I had that were buying wraps at £25, the minute I posted, you can get 4 wraps, sign up for a 12-week challenge, I think I signed 42 loyals in 1 month down to that. But that was because I had built my client base, I had wrapped people, so I had that amount of people that I could talk to, and that's important. I feel, if I'm honest, the most important part of this business is your client base, because they're who you're going to enroll and they're who's going to sign up. So that's the main thing. Don't come into this business and be in it for a week and be stressed out because you haven't signed 3 distributors. It isn't the end of the world. I didn't. I signed 1 in my first 8 weeks. But I still managed to get to diamonds in 3 months. But, like I say, I don't know whether I went out and did it on purpose to begin with. But when I look back, the reason why I did it is because I was wrapping that amount of people on a daily basis. And I believe that's what you've got to do. You still there, Mel?
Yes, I'm still here. Sorry, I was just checking that you finished and that you weren't taking a breath.
Oh, no, I have finished. I have. I know I've talked loads tonight.
No, that wasn't. No,
In between Gary screaming. I'm so sorry. He's literally football crazy.
Oh, God, no, I know. Well, I've got 3 of them here. So Louis was going...
To be fair, I'm just happy that they've equalised, to be honest.
Yeah,
my night was awful, had they not.
So Louis was in bed, but he's back up again. So I've literally got all 3 boys sat there. So
oh, love them.
I know, it is very cute, bless them. So just to go through the process side of things, I mean, obviously we've talked about, you know, previously booking launch parties, watching the training academy, listening to the training calls, and I think obviously, you know, you've spoke at length about the benefits of the training calls. Taking part in the training calls, even last night when I was, and it was 2 o'clock in the morning, I had to set my alarm and everything, but with Amanda Casanova, it fired me up just doing it rather than just listening to it, because I was like, you know what, that's why I did this business, and that's why I've, you know, that's how far I've come and everything. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously setting up your Facebook page as well. So that's something that you were very, very active.
I mean, the thing is, yeah, I mean, it was even when, like, I remember the day when Amanda Casanova invited me on, and at the time I was still diamond, it was before I went double, and I remember the day that she messaged and she said, I'd really like you to come on. And I messaged her back going, are you serious? And it was literally like, what have I got to tell people?
Mm.
And it did feel like that. And what I did do is I did write a file for my team of what I did to get to diamond. And it was for my team, but it was also for myself, so that I had a reminder of actually how I did it and what I did. And like I say, it wasn't as if I actually at the beginning went out to do anything specific, because I didn't. I don't think you can when you start out, because you're so in the beginning that how on earth would you be able to sit there and actually go out and do something?
Hello? Yeah, I think we've lost her. So I'm sure she'll try and come back in again. So I'll just pick up there with, it's interesting what she was saying. It's like when Amanda Casanova, she put on the Diamond Dreamers site that she was going to talk to me about expos, as I was pretty good at them, or whatever. I can't remember exactly what she put. And I messaged her and said, oh my God, what do you want me to say? Because the reality is that you're just going along doing your business, and you know, you start as a distributor with your business builder kit in the same place as everybody else, and then all of a sudden people want to know how you do things, and how do you do that? And it's just a bit bizarre, really, because you just think, well, the same as everybody else does, really. You know,
Sorry, I'm back.
Oh, hello.
Sorry, my iPad
I was
crashed.
saying with Amanda Casanova when she asked me, she put on the Diamond Dreamers page about or we're going to talk to Melanie because she does expos and all the rest of it, and you know, she's
Yeah,
and I was thinking, oh my God, what the hell am I going to say? So
yeah, totally.
I'm not sure what I've got to offer on this point, really. And then when you start talking, you realise that actually, because you've been working the business, you've actually come so far, but you didn't even realise it.
Yeah, yeah, completely. And I think it's like I know a lot of my team sit there where I've obviously added a lot of DTs, and I know that I got the report back that I was like the 9th highest recruiter in the company in a month. And I know that the month before I was about the 3rd. And I know a lot of my team sit there and say, well, how do you do it? We can't do it. How are you doing that? And when you try and sit there and explain to them why, and I did on my page say, I know you keep asking me, but what I'm going to put out to you is all the people that signed up with me, write the reason why you signed with me. What was it that I said? Because like I said to them, I bet that for every single one of you, it was a different reason
Yeah,
as
no,
to
that's
why you signed with me.
actually. I love
There
that
can't
idea.
have been, there cannot have been the exact same reason. I mean, Jill signed with me in the first week, and I still sit there and say to her, why? Why did you take that chance on me? Why did you sign? Because I was so new. And to be honest, sometimes I feel bad for Jill, because she came in a week into me being there. It was literally like the blind leading the blind. I didn't know enough. So now, when people join me now, 4 or 5 months down the line at Double Diamond, it's different, because I can sit there and go, this is what I've done, blah, blah, do this, do that. But I don't think that I have a single reason as to why people sign with me. The one thing I do say to all of my girls, and the only thing that I think might be why, is that when people go to sign with me, if I don't meet them in person, I always speak to them on the phone. And I sit there and I tell them about what I've been doing, of what you can do. And the thing is, and this is one thing I think about this society at the moment, is that with texting and email, I don't like it. I'm not in agreement, and the people will laugh because I'm an IT professional, but I don't like it. You can never ever explain tone or excitement or anything in a text or an email. The only way that you can express how you feel about a company is by talking to that person, either face to face or on the phone. They need to hear you, they need to hear your excitement, and they need to understand why you're doing it. Why did you get into that business? Why did you decide to do it? What was it that made you do it? And I am honest with a lot of my team, and I will admit that, like I said to you, Mel, maybe I've been a victim of my success, is that where I have had so many DTs sign up, it has meant that I've actually not been able to give as much of my time to all of them as I would like. So in that respect, I sit there and think, should I have done it slower? But on the other hand, I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all. And I do sit there now, and I feel like I'm now trying to build back up the relationships with some of the people that I've sort of left along the wayside. I mean, I've got no memory anyway, which most of my team know, because I've not been very well and I'm awful with my memory, which is a good thing that they know it, because they understand when I'm appalling. But I don't know. I think you have to, when it comes to this profession, I'm not a salesperson in no way, shape or form. I never have been. I'm an IT professional, I'm an IT manager, I'm very technical minded. I'm not sales minded, but I think the one thing that I would say about myself that I think a lot of people say is that I'm personable. Not everyone would say it, but most people will say it, and I think that's how you need to be. You need to be personable to people. You need to understand where people are coming from. You need to find out about them. Make it about them. Don't make it about you. Don't make it about the fact that you need them for your promotion. Make it about why they need to do it. What are they doing? Ask them, are you on maternity leave? Do you want to go back to work? Why do you want to do this? And how can I help you do it? And I will say that no, I haven't been able to help every single person that joins me do it. But my God, I sit there and think I will eventually. And that's the one thing that you have to remember. You're not going to be able to help everyone at once. But my God, this business will help everyone in the long term. Just like I say, this time next year, Rodney. And that's how you've got to see it. You might not be doing it as quick as everybody else, but when you come to the hare and the rabbit, that is just how it is. I know that I've done it quickly, but the reason I did it quickly is because I had, it's not very easy to turn around and say to your family and your other half, oh, FYI, I'm not going to be an RT manager anymore, I'm going to sell skinny wraps. That was a very interesting conversation that I had with my other half. It didn't go well, as you can imagine. So for me, honestly, Gary literally sat there and went, "You're doing what?"
Yeah,
and do you know what I mean? And I was like, I'm selling skinny wraps. And at the time I'm going to him, but look at this chart, look at what I can earn. And he's like, but you're not earning that. You're not. So I was sat there thinking, well, I've got to freaking earn that pretty quickly. And that's what I did. I knew I had to get myself to double diamond very freaking quickly to prove to not just Gary, but to my family that I could A, afford to take their house over, and B, I could afford to live. And so I had to do it very freaking quickly. And to be fair, Gary did have a rap. Luckily, I got him drunk enough so he did it. And he had a rap, and he is now a firm believer, Gary, to be fair, in the business, and he will sit down the pub with all the men in the pub and go, well, if your jeans aren't fitting, have a skinny wrap. But that's the other thing I want to say is your reason to be in this business needs to be strong enough to make you work that hard, because mine was, and I did work that hard in order to get myself where I've got myself. I'm not going to say I did it on my own, because I didn't. I had Leanne behind me, and I had a massive team behind me helping me. And that's the other thing. You need to have people behind you that are just 100%. I know not all of my team are, but you're not always going to please everyone, unfortunately. But I think what it comes down to is that you have to remember that it is your business. It's no one else's. No one else is going to do it for you. Nobody else did it for me. I know I had help along the way, but that was because I reached out to those people and said, this is what we're going to do. But I certainly didn't have somebody make my business for me, and that's what you've got to do. You have got to make this business by yourself. No one's going to hold your hand. No one's going to do it for you. You've got to do it. If you want it, go out and do it. That money is out there. There are ludicrous amounts of money that you can earn in this business. Absolutely ludicrous. And I'm sat here as proof that when I sat there in January and showed Gary that chart and when I'm going to be earning double diamond money, he laughed in my face. And last month, what did I get paid? Double diamond money. So it just goes to prove that it's out there. It is out there, and you can do it, but you have to want it. I'm done.
Well, that was fantastic, Rhian. So I'm really, really pleased that you came on. It's just great to hear you talk. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
And I do think that actually what you need to be able to do is to talk people to death. Because I can talk a lot.
Yeah, you do.
I think you just need that, like you say, it's if you're personable, and if you get somebody on the phone and you chat, and then, and I will talk to people about all different types of things, and it's important that they can relate to you as well. So, if they're like, so for example, I've spoken to a lady tonight who's a teaching assistant, and, I'm chatting to her and saying about how one of my friends is a teacher, and, does she get involved in the planning side of things, and just generally getting to know people, and then it just seems a little bit less scary, I think, for them to sign as well. Right, anyway, I think that's going to be us for tonight. So thank you for sticking with us through the football. It's not looking good at the moment for England. So on that note, thanks to Rhian for joining us and for coming on board, and thanks to all you guys. And I shall share this recording so that everybody else can benefit from it as well. What I'll do is I will also, so there were a few other slides that came with it that basically tracked the progress. So I will share that at the same time as the link. And you can have a little flick through it, and maybe we go through that another day. But I think it's far more valuable to hear Rhian's side of things. So thanks very much, guys, and speak to you soon. Bye.